Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Wait till a few fans hop up in here. Boxing fans, heavyweight fans hop up in here. What's good, Rain G? What's up? Going to give my opinion about the fight that I saw last night with Jarrell Miller and Bogdan Dinu. Um, then I want to speak briefly on Joseph Parker and Junior 5 being on the same card on December 15th. Quest X was good, brother. He says, "Oh, what's up, man? Chilling, man. Just talking some boxing." Arjun Gunnathy was good. Quest X says, "Finally caught one of your streams." I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man. When I do these streams, Quest, they're so unpredictable. You know what I mean? I just they're very spontaneous, bro. You know what I mean? There's no really a rhyme or reason to my streams. I'll just pop up at 12 o'clock at night on a Sunday, you know what I mean, and start doing the stream. All right. Y'all go subscribe to Quest X, man. Quest be having me cracking up, man, especially with talk some political stuff, business type stuff. I like those videos. And then just some of the videos you just put up of like, I know the other day you did one, was the last week, a couple weeks ago, the Willie Dolomite, when he was running down the staircase. That should have me cracking up, man. The Fox Strike says, what's good? He says, yo, what's good, Fox? Mark Wunderlich says, the Bears, you ain't mad, are you? No, I'm not mad at the Bears, man. I'm just mad at the Vikings. I can't get mad at the teams that beat them. I'm going to get mad at the Vikes. You know what I mean? All right, real quick, man. Let me see here. I love when, now this is Miller in the Dinu fight, all right? Now, I love when two undefeated fighters fight each other, all right? Because they come into those type of fights with, how can I say, a prodigious amount of confidence in themselves, right? They haven't lost before. They don't know how it feels to lose, especially guys that haven't, you know, if a guy's 15, 16, 17 and 0, they've never hit the mat. You know what I mean? They've never got knocked down. They're used to having it their way. You know what I mean? So I like when those type of guys meet in the ring and somebody has to go. All right. Dinu is a guy, he wasn't new. I know to a lot of other boxing fans, he was kind of obscure. Nobody really knew who he was, but I knew of him a couple years ago, did a heavyweight prospect video on him, beginning of 2016. It's on my playlist. You guys go check it out. All right. So I was privy to Dinu. I knew he was going to come in there, move, use the jab, just like I did in my prediction video, move around the ring, try to create space and room for his right hand. I thought his left hook was his best punch when I watched him fight a couple years ago. All right. So I knew he was going to implement that type of style in his fight. I thought he won the first 2 rounds by basically just moving his hands, keeping Jarrell away from him and circling, using the jab, using his hand speed. If he could have done that for 12 rounds, he would have won the fight. You know what I mean? But it only lasted a few rounds. You know, and he started to get beat to the body. And as my shirt says here, you can't see all of it, but everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, in this case, everybody had a plan until they started getting punched to the rib cage. And that's what happened in this fight. Jarrell started beating down his ribs, beating down his body. And I knew in round 3, when I saw the ref said it was a low blow, it was kind of on the belt. I guess it was low, you know what I mean? But once I seen Dinu start to wilt just a little bit, even if you want to say, hey, it was a blatant low blow, Mr. Boxer, what are you talking about? Okay, fair enough. And hey, if I got punched in my nuts as well, maybe I'll take a knee and wilt as well. But once I saw him start to wilt a little bit, I was like, yeah, this shit's going to be over with in a few rounds. Once I saw that, and then the very next round, the fight was over. You know what I mean? But I should have went live as I was watching, because I'm sitting there pointing this out like, I don't like what I see in round 3 from Dinu. Once his back started to touch the ropes a little bit, I just knew he was giving in to the pressure. And it looked good at first, the first couple rounds, right? Using the jab, landing the right hand. He was landing some good hooks on Miller. Miller was just putting the high guard up, coming forward, trying to walk him down. Um, and Dinu was doing a good job early. Well, the fight ended early, but earlier in that fight particularly, he put the guard up and he was catching shots, and he was doing it tight. He'll catch him and then he'll move. And I'm like, all right, if he can keep that up, but after a while, man, that guard starts to break open a little bit, and then Miller started to create opportunities around the glove and through the glove, and even around four, one of the knockdowns that he scored, and that's when the uh, uh, the commentary, they started to compare him to Mike Tyson, and I'm like, well, I know Miller's from Brooklyn and Iron Mike was from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? But the combination he used is why Ray Leonard brung up Mike Tyson, and it was the old right hook to the body and then the right uppercut. And if you guys are big Mike Tyson fans, you've seen Mike use that against Jose Revolta. You've seen him use it against Holyfield. It was the first Holyfield fight. It was the best round of the fight for Mike. I think it was like round 4 or 5, and it made Holyfield actually back up when he landed the right hook to the body and the right uppercut. Holyfield actually took a step back. I thought it was Mike's best round out of both fights with Holyfield. But anyways, I seen him using that fight. Obviously, the fight against did he use it against Bruno? I believe he used it against Bruno. Then I know he used it against Jesse Ferguson. So we've seen Mike use that combination. You know what I mean? So it was good to see Miller use that combo. Then Miller actually landed a left hook afterwards that put Dinu down. All right. So Miller did what he had to do in that fight. He came in and did what he had to do. He gets hit pretty flush though, man. And Dinu just didn't have enough power to make Miller back up, respect him. So Miller just kept coming forward, you know what I mean? And going into this fight, a few press conferences ago, Miller was talking about that in this fight he wanted quality over quantity, because we know Miller is known for his high work rate. All right, so he started out, looked like he was trying to keep the high guard up, walk him down, and then place hard shots. But then once Dinu was putting some speed on him, putting some speed on his shots and nice little left hooks and right hands and moving, then it seemed like Miller said, all right, the fuck with that quality shit. I'm about to just step to you with my jab, and then just start throwing combinations. And Miller found a sense of urgency in that third, especially the fourth round, in my opinion, viewing it. It looked like he, the sense of urgency, the level started to raise a little bit. He knew that, all right, I can't have too many of these type of rounds where this guy's just trying to outbox me. I got to step on the gas and walk him down and beat him to the body. And Dinu's back, like I said, started to touch the ropes a little bit. The tight high guard he had at first, but he was kind of catching body shots with his elbows. It was kind of breaking down a little bit. He was getting caught between the guard and around the guard. And then Miller started to have his way beating him down. All right, he started to enforce his physicality on Dinu, and he started to break him up. All right. So Miller won the fight, okay? He was the favorite in the fight, but I did think Dinu wouldn't just be a complete layover, you hit me with one punch, I'm going to just fall down, all right? Now, after the fight, Miller started to go over guys who he would like to get in the square circle with. Obviously, Anthony Joshua, I guess we'll see how realistic that is the first quarter of next year when it starts up, all right? But from my understanding, it seems as if Hearn and those guys want to go with AJ fighting the winner out of White versus Chisora, all right? But obviously Miller, he called out he would like to fight Joshua. Then he said he would also like to fight the winner out of White versus Chisora. I still want to see Miller versus White. I've been clamoring for that fight for like the last 2 years. Not only me, but a lot of you out there as well been talking about White versus Miller over the last 2 years. All right, so I would still love to see that, or variation, or just the winner out of Chisora versus White would be a good matchup for Miller, in my opinion. All right. But a name that he also called out, which a lot of these fights, you guys, I've been, not just me, but a lot of us have been talking about these fights for like 2 years now. But another fight that he was calling was the Trevor Bryan fight. I thought these gentlemen should have been fought on Showtime years ago. You know what I mean? So he talked about that fight. We know that Bryan just defeated BJ Flores for the interim WBA title. How BJ Flores got an interim WBA title shot, I have no idea. But he went in there and Brian beat him down, knocked him down a handful of times. So I would still like to see that fight, two undefeated guys. And that's one thing, you know, we always have these conversations about how can the U.S. heavyweights become more marketable and more and just be more noticed by the public. And my thing is fight each other. That's one way, is to create buzz here in the States and fight each other. I know there's other good heavyweights across seas. We know that. But here, though, you can fight each other. You know what I mean? So create some good rivalries here. And I think that'd be, for the last 2 years, I've been saying Miller versus Bryan to be a good fight. All right. Miller also went on to call out Dave Allen. If he were to go to the UK and he's just, you know, fighting Dave Allen, maybe some of these other guys that I'm talking about aren't available, that's a decent fight. You know, Dave Allen, he's had a little win streak. His last fight, though, he didn't look too impressive in that win, but he got the win. The fight before that, he knocked out undefeated Nick Webb. And Dave Allen's a guy, you know, tough dude. He's been in there with Dillian White and Luis Ortiz. He's a tough, durable dude. Miller wouldn't have to go looking for him as far as their styles. Dave Allen will come right to him, so that'd be a good matchup. I know Dave Allen's very durable, but shit, man, you know, Luis Ortiz likes to pick his spots. He was, you know, trying to pick his spots with Dave Allen. Even Dillian White, when he fought against Dave Allen, he was kind of boxing a little bit. Miller's not going to do none of that. He's going to give Dave Allen exactly what he's looking for, and that's come forward. So remember, guys, styles make fights. You just can't automatically think that, well, Dave Allen, you know, he gave such and such a tough time, and such couldn't get him out of there. And I believe that such and such is better than Miller. Okay, that's fine. Styles make fights, though. Miller's not going there trying to give you the shoulder and box with you. No, he's coming right to you. He may try to move as he's coming forward, but it's not going to be no backing up, backing. No, it's not going to be any of that circling. No, he's going to come right to you. So the dynamic is a little bit different when you get somebody 315 pounds in there and you're trying to, you know, have a fight right in the wheelhouse. But we'll see. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was Dave Allen, the winner of the White Chisora, Anthony Joshua, and Trevor Bryan. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody else. All right. But Chisora White winner, especially if it was out like in the UK, I think that'd be a big fight out there. Miller, Trevor Bryan's another good fight, you know. So if I had to rate them in order, I would say the Chisora White winner. Can't get that, then Trevor Bryan. Can't get that, then that's when, you know, the Dave Allens and so on and so forth. All right. I believe that's all the guys that he mentioned. Okay. But yeah, I would, if he can't get those first two options, man, I would way rather see him fight a Dave Allen versus fighting somebody that, you know, Larry Lunchmeat or, you know what I mean, Bob the Carpenter, you know, just some obscure guy that we've never heard of and to stay busy. I would way rather see him fight a Dave Allen if he can't get any of the higher profile guys. Oh, and he said David Price. I knew why he was saying it, just because he wants a UK name, but David Price, I think David Price gets knocked out. I'm gonna get to the comments, but I think I just saw somebody say, why didn't Miller call out Ortiz? I'm gonna get to the comments. Hey man, whenever you find that answer out, please let me know. I've been saying this for a couple of years. Why doesn't anybody really want to fight Ortiz? So once again, nobody's really calling him out. You know what I mean? Oh, and I want to touch on Joseph Parker. You know, man, right now the heavyweight division is, it's just a lot of, it's a, how can I say this? It's an aggregate of, you know, you got guys that are 6'8", 6'7", then you got some guys that are like 6'4" with good hand speed. Some guys are 6'4", 300 pounds, come forward. It's just a lot of different shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? Parker is one of those guys that's kind of in the middle. Some fans I've even seen on some videos I did like last year, They were saying that Parker's too small for the division, and I'm like, man, that dude's 240 pounds, man. You know, there's nothing small. I mean, he doesn't have the longest reach in the world. He's not the tallest, but you look at that man's legs and the way he's built. That dude's a solid 240 pounds. There's nothing cruiserweight about Joseph Parker, in my opinion. Um, could he get a little slimmer? I mean, yeah, but if he gets a little slimmer, I don't think he can get 40 pounds slimmer. You know what I mean? Maybe 5 or 6, but that dude's a heavyweight. He just may not be as tall as Wilder and you know some of these other guys. All right, AJ and Tyson Fury and Ivan Daichko and some of the other guys, even some of the guys that are coming up, Philippe Herkovic, um, even his countryman Junior Fa, who was 6'6", 6'7", somewhere in there. All right, but the Flores fight taking place December 15th. Yeah, December 15th. To me, it's a get back. You know, just him getting back in the rhythm of winning because he, you know, did drop his last 2 fights. The fight against Dillian White, really felt that could have went either way, and I thought the Joshua fight was a lot closer than some fans feel. You know what I mean? I thought that was a little bit closer. But 2 losses in a row, no excuses, right? So he's trying to get back in the win column, trying to go home to do it. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Parker has been fighting some good competition. Andrew Ruiz, Takum, you know what I mean? So Huey Fury, you know what I mean? So to me, I think those are some good fighters. You know what I mean? So he's trying to get back in the win column, trying to go home and press the Gaines PP says Stephen Shaw, heavyweight prospect. Yeah, I've done a heavyweight prospect watch on Stephen Shaw. He was actually training with Kevin Cunningham, you know what I mean, out there in St. Louis. Haven't heard much from Stephen though, man. But I did a video on him. Go check out the heavyweight prospect playlist if you haven't seen it already. But I thought I saw that he's going to be active in the upcoming fight card, or was it a one that just ended? But anyways, yeah, Parker going back to New Zealand. Him and Junior Farr on the same card. I like that. I like the fact that they're, you know, putting their names together a little bit. Okay, Games PP said that Shaw fought on October 27th. Okay, yeah, I knew I seen his name recently. But I like the fact that Fi and Parker are putting their names together a little bit, reconnecting their names a little bit, because that's a fight that's going to happen, especially when you come from a island like that. Parker and Fa. Now we can sit here and say who we think is better. That's fine, but they still got to fight each other. They fought each other 4 times in the amateurs. They split. They went 2-2 against each other. Um, that fight's gonna have to happen eventually. You know what I mean? You can't be from the same island like that, man. 2 heavyweights striving and vying to be the best in the division and not fight each other. All right, your island is not that big to where you can't, you know, fight each other. You know what I mean? So that fight will eventually happen. I did a video of was a couple months ago where Fa's team was talking about, you know, eventually that it will happen, and Parker's team. Not now, but eventually. All right, so good to get that bubbling a little bit, and even Fa said that he knows that you know, it's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that they're on the same card. Fa is fighting an Argentinian gentleman that I forgot his name, but he's like 6'6" or something like that. He's been stopped by a few cruiserweights. You know what I mean? So I expect Fa to go in there and take care of business. Now, as far as Parker versus Alexander Flores, Flores is a guy that I've seen fight a few times. I know he lost to Charles Martin. He got stopped by Martin, and he got a draw with Avery Gibson. On his resume, on Flores' resume, those are 2 best guys on his resume. So he's had mixed results because he had to draw with Avery Gibson. Gibson is the best out of all the journeymen that he's fought, and then Charles Martin obviously is the best fighter that he's fought. So mixed results. You know, he steamrolled all the journeymen because Flores is what, 17-1 with 15 knockouts. So that lets you know that the dude has heavy hands. So I expect Parker to win the fight, but there is a chance there, you know, something could land on him. The dude does have heavy hands, but I expect Parker to go in there, take care of business, and chop Flores down. Flores isn't the best fighter going backwards. He likes to come forward, although he's a taller guy. He likes to come forward and have his way. Throw fast, hard combinations down the middle. He has a good left hook. But I see Parker making him back up. And if Flores does come forward, I think Parker has the agility and the ability to move around the ring, move his head, make Flores miss, and counter him. I think he can beat him either way, whether he's going backwards or coming forward. Flores, on the other hand, I think his only chance of winning is coming forward. Him going backwards, I don't see how he can win a fight like that. Being he wants to let his offense go coming forward. Going backwards, he's only going to be on the defensive, and he's a tall, upright type of guy. And I see Parker breaking him down to the body or throwing punches either around or through his guard and breaking him down. All right. Um, so yeah, that's my opinion on Parker and Fa fighting on the same card. And their opponents. All right. Um, but yeah, as far as Miller though, he did what he had to do. That's pretty much it on that, man. I really much the fight only went 4 rounds. I like the combination he threw in the fourth round. The old a la Mike Tyson, right hook to the body, right uppercut upstairs. I liked it that. That's pretty much it on that, man. Let me get to you guys, see what you guys are talking about real quick. Okay, Arjun Ganathby says, shit, Dinu was pumping out that jab well and catching Miller until, I don't know, he gassed or what. Um, my thing, Arjun, is I think he started to get hit to that body, man. I think them body shots start to take their toll on him, man. And once, because again, he was tight, nice and tight, and then once you start catching him on the arm, and that's another thing. Maybe a lot of fans they don't realize and recognize is when you get hit on the shoulder and hit on the forearms, and you get hit and hit, shit starts to loosen up a little bit, man. That shit hurts too. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the same effect on getting hit right on the temple or getting hit square on the jaw, obviously, or getting hit right in the kidney, obviously, but they do have an effect. You know what I mean? And it can break your defense down a little bit. And now you're putting your opponent in a position to find openings on you because your defense isn't as tight. So I think him getting beat to his body, um, was his downfall. And Miller just kept taking advantage of it. The Fox Strikes fed the Strock. The Fox Strike says Miller looks like H. You mean he looks like hell? I'm not sure what you mean, bro. Quest says, smash that like button. Indeed, hit that like button, y'all. The Fox Strike says he's hunting some UK guy now. It's time for him to fight the other contenders now. Enough tune-ups. That's true, but at the same time, though, a lot of these guys got to be ready and willing and able to get in there with him. Now, I do understand that he did turn down the opportunity to fight Pulev. All right, there was an opportunity there for not only Miller. Huey Fury was the guy that ended up taking the opportunity, but there was an opportunity there for Dillian White, Jarrell Miller, and Dominic Brazil to all fight Pulev. Now, for whatever reason, all three gentlemen declined. I don't want to sit here and go over why this and why that. They all declined for whatever reason, whether it was for a better opportunity or not. They declined. All right. Um, but some of these other guys that Miller has been calling out, though, I don't see why those guys won't want to get in the ring with him. You know what I mean? But it takes two to tango, though, man. So if he can get one of these guys, these upper echelon type of top 10 type of dudes to get in there with him, then so be it. But a lot of these guys, man, not just Miller, but a lot of these, just everybody. We got to stop turning down every opportunity. I know sometimes you turn down things to look for something better, but at the same time, you're not guaranteed that something better is going to come along. You know what I mean? And if you guys are all striving to be the best, you should want to get in there with other top guys. I understand you want to make your money and make your dollar. Obviously, this is prize fighting, but at the same time, though, we can't just keep turning down opportunities. That's why I like some of the guys, and I know some of these guys are in different positions, but that's why I like the guys like Travis Kaufman and Amir Mansour. Dudes even like a Dave Allen. Guys just fight, man. You know what I mean? They're not too much tripping on some of these minute things. At least for me as a fan, I think they are. But a lot of these guys, for whatever reason, man, they don't want to get in there with certain guys. The Fox Strike says, how you think Miller would do against Huey? I think he'll cut the ring off on him and beat him down. He doesn't have enough power to make Miller respect him at all. None whatsoever. Miller's now obviously on the outside looking in, Huey's best bet would to be to stay on the outside, use his footwork, circle left to right, clockwise, counterclockwise. When he gets in close, put the bear hug on, wait till the referee breaks you. I understand what type of game plan he'll implement, but I think Miller would just eventually walk him down and stop him. Miller, the type of guy that's going to beat Miller, man, is somebody that can make him respect them. That you got to make that dude respect you. If not, he's going to walk through you. You know what I mean? Yes, he isn't the biggest one punch knockout artist, but to me, a lost art is fans showing respect for body work. You know what I mean? Everybody might not be the one punch KO artist in the heavyweight division. Shit, look at Julio Cesar Chavez. Obviously, he wasn't a heavyweight, but he was a dedicated body puncher. Ricky Hatton was a dedicated body puncher. Doesn't mean they're going to win all their fights, but they're dedicated body punchers. That means something. You know, Adam Konowski is another guy that I'm sitting there looking like, hey man, like I know his body doesn't look the part. You know what I mean? I know the pudge in his build doesn't look the part, or it doesn't it's not easy on the eyes to some fans. But at the same time, you gotta show respect for that body work, man. You know what I mean? And that shit goes a long way, especially if the guy's a committed, dedicated body puncher. It's an art. You know what I mean? So that's something that can't just be overlooked, is a guy's body work. So and I think Miller would walk. I think he'll hurt Huey Fury, to tell you the truth. But I can see Huey winning some rounds though. You know what I mean? I could definitely see him winning some rounds. And if Huey tries to fight the way, because against Pulev he didn't move that much. You guys notice that Pulev fight, he didn't move as much as I thought he was, like he did in the Parker fight. Especially if he chooses to fight that way. I just see Miller hurting him bad. Let me see here. The Fox Strike says, in the meantime, Miller can fight Pulev. That'd be a good one. Pulev right now earned his IBF shot. So, and we seen how Pulev, how he gets down once he earns a shot, man. He gonna lay low. Pulev might fuck around and fight the Kevin Johnsons and the Samuel Peters of the world while he's sitting on his wait for his title shot. You know what I mean? But he did what he had to do, man. It's not Pulev's fault that Brazil didn't want it, Miller didn't want it, White didn't want it for whatever reason. They didn't want it, so it's not his fault. You know what I mean? They had their opportunity to get in there with the guy. Garugara says Dave Allen sparred Miller and Dinu. He predicted Dinu gets stopped because he's soft. Well, he didn't look that soft in the first few rounds. I mean, he looked like somebody that's doing an excellent job of using his boxing ability. And I think he got stopped not because he's soft. I think he got stopped because he was getting beat to his body. But I don't know the characteristics of Dinu the way that Dave Allen does. So I can't say that Dave Allen is telling a lie. I mean, he's been in there sparring with the guys, so on and so forth. So mentally, maybe I don't know. Maybe he does have some mental weakness in there in certain areas. Dave Allen would probably know since he sparred the guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not discrediting what Dave Allen had to say. I don't know. I just know what I saw on Saturday night. Let me see here. The Fox Strike says, true, that's what I believe fighters should do. Conquer their own country, then go for the world. Yeah, man. I be seeing a lot of fighters, man. They be wanting to fight this guy, that guy from across seas, and this guy and that guy. And that's all great. But I'm like, damn, what about the dudes in your country? Like, have you fought? Are you going to take care of that? You know what I mean? Um, just crazy sometimes. You know what I mean? Even here in the States, sometimes this dude's in the same state. You know what I mean? That aren't even fighting each other, let alone wanting to fight somebody across seas or across country. The Fox Strike says, if we're talking USA clashes, Miller should look at Jennings. That's another one. Andrew Ruiz Jr. And that's another name that I'm surprised that Jarrell, unless I missed it, that Jarrell didn't talk about was Andy Ruiz. Now, Jarrell actually got in the ring on Andy Ruiz, and I did a video about this the night it happened. Ruiz was fighting Josh Gormley down in Detroit, Michigan. This is like 2 years ago. Jarrell Miller jumps in the ring after the fight. It wasn't televised, but after the fight, Miller jumps in the ring, grabs the mic out of Andy Ruiz Jr.'s hand, and start talking shit to him. Now, on my, you guys go on, you can go on Google or you can look up that video on my page, and there's a video of them face to face in the ring where Jarrell has the mic and Ruiz is like right here talking shit. Now that happened. Now this was before Ruiz had his title shot with Parker. So at this time, Ruiz is rated by the sanctioning body. His name is popping. He's rated in the top 5. So Miller's going after him. Now, after the Parker defeat, which was a very close fight, Ruiz was like inactive for like a year. He dropped out of all the rankings. I think he just now got back into the top 15 of one of the sanctioning bodies. Now, since this has happened, Miller's profile has went up. He's beaten Duopa. He's beaten Wak. He's beaten Tomas Adamak. Now he just beat Bogdan Dinu. He beat Jarrell Washington. So his stock is kind of rising. So now he's looking at Ruiz like, I don't need you no more. You know what I mean? To me, that'll still be a good clash, man. Think that'd be a great clash. Mike Wilkins, what's up, man? D Pog says, why didn't Miller call out Ortiz? Y'all answer that shit, man. When you find out the answer, let me know, man. It just seems as if people don't really want to get in there with that guy. I seen it's either the Boxing Voice, shout out to the Boxing Voice, or maybe it was Fight Hype, one of the YouTube channels. I think it was a Boxing Voice. They are at the Luis Ortiz camp, showing him hit the mitts and hit the bag and things like that. And people are still doing their little jokes, and I get it. It's just a joke. We want to crack jokes and laugh and things like that, and that's cool. It's always good to crack a smile and have a laugh. But when we get down to serious business, though, regardless of how old people proclaim Luis Ortiz to be, he's still a sharp thinker. He's still a good counterpuncher, and he still seems to be in good shape. He's never been, even when he was younger, he still wasn't the type of guy coming in there having his Joe Frazier in his prime type of work rate. He's always been the calm, I call him like a big cat, you know what I mean? Very patient stalker power puncher, in my opinion. Always trying to pinpoint shots, whether it's straight left hands, left uppercuts, left hooks, lead with the right hook. He's always fought like that. So it's not like, oh, he's not as good as he was when he was younger. It's like he still fights in that same type of style. I seen him, and I'm talking about when I seen Luis Ortiz fight. Some of you don't remember when he used to have blonde hair. Remember when Luis Ortiz had blonde hair? Y'all remember that? Or y'all don't even remember? Some of y'all don't even know that. Luis Ortiz used to have blonde hair, y'all. Even when I seen him fight then, he still seemed like the same guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, shit, man. A lot of guys don't want to get in there with him. I'm not saying he's unbeatable, right? Because he has been beaten. But it seems like a lot of guys really, they rather do other things than get in there with Luis Ortiz. BC, what's up, BC? He says, ain't nobody calling out Ortiz. Yeah. The Fox Strike says Ortiz is booked with Kaufman right now. Yes, he is. Yep. But, there's a lot of guys that are booked. I mean, shit, Jarrell Miller called. He said he want the winner out of White versus Chisora. They're booked. You know what I mean? He still mentioned their name and they're booked. You know what I mean? So it's not like he was only mentioning guys that aren't booked. You know what I mean? To me, he just mentioned guys who he has interest in fighting. And maybe to him, Luis Ortiz isn't a guy of interest right now. Vince Camper, was good, Vince? Body Snatcher for VC2. What's up, man? Johnny Payne, what's up? He says a lot of politics with the matchmaking. God of War says, what's good? BC says it's hard to really gauge these prospects. You're right, BC. That's why when I do a lot of those heavyweight prospect videos, you guys always hear me say things like, yeah, man, this guy looks great. fighting downhill. I don't even know if anybody's even ever said that, but I came up with that by myself. And what I mean with that is fighting downhill, just having it your way. Just round one start, you go in there, you're throwing a jab, the right hand, you're moving, you're making a miss, you're throwing left hooks, you're catching shots, defense, you're rolling, all this shit. You're just looking great. You're looking phenomenal, right? What's going to happen when that prospect gets in there with somebody that's has a little bit of resistance, a guy that's putting him on the defensive, making him think he maybe lose a round or two. That's why it's hard for me to gauge prospects sometimes because everybody looks great in their first handful of fights. You know what I mean? That's why you need to get in there and fight either another undefeated prospect to where one of you guys always has to go, or you go in there and you fight a former title holder or former fighter that has competed for a world title, or maybe you go in there with a tough journeyman. But even after you beat the tough journeymans and things like that, man, because shit, Dinu fought Avery Gibson and he was able to defeat him. You know what I mean? You really don't know what you got until they get in there with somebody that's either on or above the same level or perceived to be on or the same level as that fighter. You know what I mean? Games PP says, do you know about super heavyweight amateur Richard Torres? Richard Torres. I don't believe I heard of that name before. I don't believe I heard of him before. Let me see here. The Fox Strike says the best U.S. clash Miller could have outside of Wilder is probably Jennings. He'll have a common opponent with Ortiz. The best U.S. clash Miller could have outside of Wilder is probably Jennings. I like that one. Jennings is a dogged type of fighter, puts up the high guard, wants to come forward. He'll bang with you. He won't run away from that type of action. I like the Andy Ruiz fight. I like Dominic. I know Dominic Brazil has a fight with Carlos Negron coming up. But I like the Dominic Brazil situation. I like the Trevor Bryan fight. There's a few fights out there for Jarrell, in my opinion. But I like the Jennings fight as well. Johnny Payne says he believes Miller crushes Jennings. That's what Johnny Payne says. Rain G says, Mr. Boxing, how would you rank the new group of heavyweight 1 through 5? F.A., Fa, Yoka, Daniel Dubois, Herkovic, Joyce, just to name a few prospects. Oh man, that's a whole video in itself, man. That's a whole nother video, Rain G. But the guys you named are upper echelon. I will say that. Now, my favorite out of all these guys, now again, I'm impressed with what I see. I'm impressed watching F.A. Jagba put dudes into damn near a mild coma. You know what I'm saying? How can I not be impressed? I'm impressed with Philippe Herkovic, his boxing ability, him being able to take a fight like Amir Mansour with only, 4 or 5 fights into his career and dominate Amir Mansour like that. You know what I mean? I know Amir Mansour is an older, smaller heavyweight, but shit, tell that to Gerald Washington, Dominic Brazil. They have to go to damn near hell with that dude. You know what I mean? So, I'm impressed with a lot. I like Daniel Dubois. I really got to sit down and think about that one, man. It's hard for me to just run them off real quick. You know what I mean? Like that. So I'm not gonna lie to you and rate one guy over the other. But I'm impressed with a lot of these guys. You know what I mean? So Herkovic though. See, with Herkovic, man, I was impressed with him late 2015 when I started doing my due diligence on his career and really trying to figure out who he was as a fighter. And the reason I was doing all this when I found out about Yoka as well, because I was trying to look at, they're all amateurs at the time. I was trying to look at the amateurs and see who I would favor going into the 2016 Rio Olympics. So the end of 2015, like the fall and the winter time of 2015, that's when I started to learn about Yoka, started to learn more about Joe Joyce and Philippe Herkovic, Ivan Daichko, guys like that. F.A. Jagba, you know what I mean? So Herkovic was the one that I was really impressed with. I actually did a video on him a few years ago saying, is he the next great heavyweight? I think that's the name of it. You guys can look it up, man. Look in the search box. Mr. Boxing today too. Philippe Herkovic. It'd be a video from a couple years ago, but I think the title of the video was, "Is he the next great heavyweight?" or something like that. And he was an amateur then, you know what I mean? But Herkovic is a guy that I've been impressed with for a few years now. But then there's some guys that are under the radar, man. I know we think of Daniel Dubois, just like the big names that are in lights. But then there's guys like, oh damn, what's the dude's name, man? I can't forgetting his name. The kid from Saginaw, Michigan, man. Oh, Jermaine Franklin. I like Jermaine Franklin, man. I really do, man. I know you may, again, he's not one of them dudes. He's not going to wow you with being, 6'7" and chiseled like Anthony Joshua or anything like that, or have crazy one-punch power like Wilder. He's not going to impress you with none of that. What I'm most impressed with is his patience, his boxing ability, how he can go from offense to defense. Everything is just well coordinated. He has a very good balance. I like Jermaine Franklin, man. I've been watching him since he was an amateur. I think he's about 16, 17-0 right now. I like Jermaine Franklin. I mean, there's a lot of guys, man. Too Tough says, "Sup, Mr. Boxing." 89 Hatter says, "Would you like to see Parker bring in a different trainer, new ideas?" And I've heard a lot of, especially after the Dillian White fight, man, I seen a lot of fans saying that he needs a new trainer. Kevin Barry isn't teaching him anything, so on and so forth. To me, they made adjustments, man. I thought he made some adjustments from the Joshua fight to the White fight. He made adjustments. One of the big adjustments was to be more aggressive. He said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be more aggressive this time around," and he did it. Now, with that said, though, could you bring in a new set of eyes? Not necessarily to work. See, now, okay, when you guys are asking me, does he need a new trainer? Because you can bring in a new set of eyes in training camp. But in the corner, I think you should go with who you're most comfortable with. You know what I mean? Go with who you're more comfortable with on fight night in the corner. But yeah, it's okay to bring in a little, a new set of eyes during training camp. Like, hey, man, him and Kevin could be chopped up. Whoever that new set of eyes is, I'm just gonna think of somebody. Let's say it was Virgil Hunter, right? He could be talking to Kevin like, "Hey, I like when Joe does this, but Joe should try to, drop levels, double up on a jab. Just little technical things that probably help his career blossom even more." So I wouldn't disagree with that. But I don't necessarily think he needs a whole makeover like some fans believe. I don't think this kid needs a makeover. Kevin Barry got him to where he is now. You know what I mean? Shit, who's to say he would have got this far without Kevin Barry? Or not Kevin, yeah, without Barry. You know what I mean? So, could he tweak a few things here and there? To me, it's just Parker, his thing, man. You don't need this like mass. I mean, we don't need the rest in peace to the great Emmanuel Stewart, but we don't need to dig up Emmanuel Stewart. We don't need to dig up Emmanuel Stewart to put in his corner to make him be this terrific fighter, man. It's just maybe just need to tweak a few things here and there, and one of them is being more aggressive. You know what I mean? Gaines PP says, "Jab that like button." Yes, give me a Larry Holmes. Give me a Larry Holmes jab to that like button, man. Give me a Carl the Truth Williams jab. D. Pog says, "Miller is not very exciting, but I see him causing big problems for AJ and Wilder. But he's shown time and time again he doesn't want tough competition, just the AJ or White for pay-per-view." Shit, to be honest with you though, bro, who doesn't want AJ? So I'm not going to blame him for wanting Anthony Joshua. Now, people want Anthony Joshua for different reasons. And I'm not going to be of the mindset of and people used to do this a lot with Floyd, or I'm not going to say, a lot of fans would think this a lot with Floyd, and I'm only using him as a I'm only using Floyd as an example because he was the big time moneymaker. Yes, people want to fight those type of guys like Anthony Joshua or even a Floyd Mayweather or the guy who's making a lot of money, Canelo. Yes, they want to fight him because of the uh, the monetary gain. But at the same time, though, bro, we can't get into this mindset of, oh, so and so only wants to fight him because he wants to get paid. Well, true, but then there's also guys out there that actually believe that they can whoop whoever's ass. Like, I'm pretty sure Jarrell Miller, in his mind, in his heart, really believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. Now, you may sit back and say he'll get smoked, or he might, but he believes he can really beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's just for money. And those three fucking titles that the dude holds, who doesn't want an opportunity at a guy who has three titles? You'll get a payday, and you really believe that you can beat the guy. You know what I mean? So um, he wants to be, he wants that type of, he wants to be in that type of spotlight. You know what I'm saying? So I can't get mad at him for that. Now he did. Now when you say he doesn't want to fight any competition, I really can't agree with that fully because he was trying to fight Dillian White. He was calling him out. I remember Dillian White blocked the dude on Twitter and Instagram. And I know now look, I know they go back and forth. All right, and they've been going back and forth, article for article, Instagram message for Instagram message. But I know initially when Miller was calling him out, White wanted he had other things on his mind. All right. Now, did Miller turn down going out to fight Pulev for whatever reason? Yes, he did. You know what I mean? So I can't sit here and vouch for him and say every time somebody there's opportunity that he took it because that's not the case. Even with Luis Ortiz, you got and Miller actually told me this himself. Text message. He told me this. He said that he had an opportunity to fight Luis Ortiz. This is when Luis Ortiz was looking for an opponent when he fought Tony Thompson. Remember, guys, when Luis Ortiz fought Tony Thompson down in Washington, D.C., they contacted Jarrell Miller for the fight. And Miller said that they only gave him like 3 weeks notice. All right. So some of you may fall back and look at that and say, hey, man, I wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz on 3 weeks notice. Neither. You know what I mean? Some of you may say, but hey, man, if you're a professional boxer, you're supposed to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. He should have took that damn fight. The opportunity was there. That's his fault. So you can look at it different ways. You know what I mean? Um, so I just say right now, Miller's kind of picking his situations right now. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say that getting in there with Duapa, Wak, Jarrell Washington, Bogdan Dinu is not fighting no competition. I mean, you may say, hey, he was favored to win all those fights. Okay, but he still had to go in there and win the fights, though. You know what I mean? So I won't call that no. It's like to me, no competition is when you're fighting Larry Lunchmeat, Bob the Builder, Andy the Handyman. You know what I mean? Guys like that, obscure journeyman is what I'm trying to get to. You know what I mean? Now you just don't want to feast on fringe contenders all your career either. But I definitely would like to see Jarrell in more fights, more higher profile fights. I'll put it like that. Because maybe not out in like the UK or certain places like that. Like a Chisora, for example, right? I know Chisora's tough, durable. He'll come to get it. He just sparked a good comeback win against Takum, and that's great. But everybody over here in the States, for example, they're not going to look at Chisora as like, okay, this is the fight right here for Jarrell because we're going to look at all them damn losses he has on his record, all right? Now, just having a lot of losses doesn't make or break you as a fighter. It doesn't devalue you as a fighter. But in fans' eyes, in casual fans' eyes, when they see 6, 7 losses on your record, they're like, man, he fighting a dude with 6, 7 losses, man. Who the fuck is this dude? You know what I mean? So the fights like White, Brazil, Miller Konowski's not gonna fight anytime soon, but I would love to see that. But they're friends. They grew up in Brooklyn together. They damn near call each other brothers from another mother. You know what I mean? So, but those type of fights is the fights that I would love to see Jarrell Miller take. Adam Face says, Mr. Boxing was good. Your thoughts on a Hunter versus Parker fight in the new year? It both come through in the next 3 weeks. Think it would be a decent fight. Let me see. Let me fix this up, man. My damn phone falling. You talking about Michael Hunter, bro? Is that what you're talking about? A Michael Hunter and Joseph Parker fight? I like to see Michael Hunter and Brian Jennings fight. I think that'd be a good one. But if you're talking about Michael Hunter, bro, I see Parker beating Hunter, and I like Hunter too. I don't think it'd be easy, but I see Parker probably outpointing him though. Games PP says I want to see Povetkin versus Miller next. I love that fight. Alex Santos says Miller is a talk. He's looking to cash if he fights AJ. I mean, shit. Well, in that case though, bro, I mean, whoever fights Anthony Joshua, fans are going to go back and say, oh, he just want to cash out. So whoever fights Anthony Joshua, a lot of fans are going to say he's only fighting Anthony Joshua because he wants to cash out. True, but at the same time, though, bro, there's people that actually think they can beat Anthony Joshua. Now, whether they get in there and beat him, that's a different topic. But we just can't think that everybody wants, because in that case, then should nobody call Anthony Joshua out then? If fans just think that they only call him out because they want to cash out. No, man, there's people actually that really think they can go upside his head, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way I look at it. Maybe some of you really do feel that nobody really wants to fight him. They just want money. You know, it could be a little bit of both, man. It could be they want that paycheck, but they also want to go upside his head too, and take his titles, and take whatever he has, strip it away from him. You know what I mean? Slow or Silo Mixon and Mastering says avoiding Pulev in Bulgaria was a smart move. Pulev is the Justin Bieber of Bulgaria, so I doubt Miller would get a decision over there against the national hero. Um, Alex Santos says Michael Hunter has interests me. Yeah, I like Hunter. Hunter's a guy that I did and I know he's a cruiserweight while he's a heavyweight now, but at the time I did my heavyweight prospect watch video on Michael Hunter a couple years ago. Even in the video, I said I know he's a cruiserweight, but he kind of rendezvous at heavyweight a little bit. He like masquerades around as a heavyweight. When he was a cruiser, he was going kind of back and forth. He's interested me for a while, man, years now, because in the amateurs he was a damn good amateur, and people don't know that Hunter was in Klitschko camps. You know what I mean? Like Hunter has been around, man. I know that he's prevalent in that Mayweather gym. You know what I mean? Him and Andrew Tabiti, you know, getting down and dirty in some sparring sessions, you know. But yeah, Hunter can fight. His father was a really good fighter back in the day. If you guys want to watch his father fight, go watch his father when he fought the Pink Line Thomas fight, or go watch any of his father's fight. His father can bang, man. His father was a damn good fighter. God of War says we as fans should stop discrediting guys that lost to someone, but these days only unbeaten fighters get appreciated. I think they get a lot of the press because you know that old looks very shiny, very glossy. You know, some fans believe, oh, this guy can never be beaten, you know, because he's never lost. Um, but yeah, man, a loss should make or break you, especially if you're the type of fighter that can get off the deck, wipe himself off, and you know, continue to have good or great fights. Okay, I see I'm way behind because I see some of these comments are talking about body work, and I talked about that about 20 minutes ago. Let me see here. Teddy B says, what up, Mr. Boxer today? Who do you think FA should fight in the next year? And who is your favorite of the prospects? All right, Teddy, I was just talking about this a little bit earlier, man. I'm impressed with Philippe Herkovic. I'm impressed with a lot of these guys, man. Like FA is the one guy who I'm impressed with. Philippe Herkovic. I've just been impressed with him from all these guys that are the young guys right now. He's the one that I was impressed with years ago. And I know things can change since then. But to me, even when he beat Amir Mansour just recently, I'm just like, damn. Like he handled Amir, man. You know what I mean? He handled Amir, man. So Herkovic is still the guy up there to me. But some of these other guys are fantastic to watch as well, man. And as far as who should FA fight, he needs to just, I mean, unless he wants to do the whole Joe Joyce type of thing where he wants to be fast tracked and he's letting it know that he wants to be fast tracked. If that's the case, then shit, try to get him in there with a Arthur Spilka esque type of fight. You know what I mean? But if he wants to just keep gradually working his way up, keep getting him in there with the guys he's fighting, the Larry Lunch Meats and Andy the Handyman, and then eventually move him up to the Avery Gibson and John Boldens and those type of journeymen. And then after another fight or two, then you go and fight the guys who have competed for world titles. Um, or if you really want to roll the dice, get him in with somebody like a Jarrell Miller or Trevor Bryan or somebody like that, somebody that's willing to take him on as a challenge. You know what I mean? Gaines PP says, how come Pulev was still at the top of the rankings in the IBF after 18 months out of the ring? Well, I know Pulev, he sustained a injury, right? Because I know when he was going to fight Joshua, this one Joshua ended up fighting Takam. Remember, they had Takam on standby, but Pulev was the guy that was going to fight AJ. And then for whatever reason, it was an injury or whatever the hell, um, the IBF kind of was lenient with him, and he was able to maintain um, that position, you know. Adam Faye says, would love to see Jennings fight Ruiz next. See he's on Top Rank Bill in January. Retro Box. Oh, what's good? Blood Boxing in the house. Retro Boxing, the documentary says, shout out to Mr. Boxing today. Shout out to you, Blood. And I seen your live yesterday, man, where you're talking about I know watching it today rather, Blood, where you're talking about you're not supporting the celebrity type of fighters, you know what I mean? And I agree with a lot of what you said in that video, man. I agree with a lot of what you said in that video. The Fox Strike says they need to have some country tournaments, ideally North America tournament, same for South and Central. Then the final would be North America tourney versus the South America, Central America winner. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind that. The Fox Strike says Saw of the blonde hair vids. Oh yeah, I'm way back in the comments. So the Fox Strike said that he's seen Luis Ortiz when he had blonde hair. Yeah, I brought that up one time. Somebody was like, "Man, Luis Ortiz never had blonde hair." I'm like, "Well, you ain't watched enough of his fights, because he had blonde hair for a while." Prince Vito says Joe Joyce called out Luis Ortiz, but PBC don't want to put them together. All right, Prince Vito. The last of what I seen from that, and I'm not discounting what you said, but the last that I seen from that situation, it was I forget who Joe Joyce had fought, but I believe it was in August. Joyce said that, hey, I'll fight Luis Ortiz, but not next. And that next was Joe Joyce's last opponent. But he was making it seem as if he's ready for him after that. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a call out like, yeah, I want Luis Ortiz now, or my very next fight. He was saying, I want him next, meaning after my upcoming fight, I wouldn't mind fighting him next. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a good fight, though. I think that'd be a damn good fight. I think Joe Joyce will come forward, put the pressure on, won't let up until he either tries to stop Ortiz or he gets stopped himself. I would like that fight. I see Ortiz picking him apart. I think he's too crafty of a puncher. I think Joyce is a very big dude. He's just too many openings, just too much. It's just too much there for Luis Ortiz. It'd be like damn near like a kid in a candy, or an old man in a candy store to some of you, but it'd be like a kid in a candy store. Like, ooh, the body's there, the jaw's there, and he's gonna come forward, and he's just upright. Ooh, it'd just be like too much for him to pick apart. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong, you know. Sometimes pressure can overwhelm some guys. Games PP says, I would rather see Rivas versus Jennings. I'm gonna get to Oscar Rivas as well. I heard Rivas I forgot who Rivas was supposed to fight, man. But I'd love to see that fight as well. Boxwatch.tv says, respect Mr. Boxing today. The way I see things, White wants to get the biggest paydays right now. Miller's name ain't big enough for White. to consider right now in his eyes, Chisora sells heavily here. Yes, I do believe Chisora and the UK gonna get behind their guys. You know what I mean? So they're gonna come out there and they're gonna support that fight. Boxwatch TV, Boxwatch.tv also says, I'm going to that fight. I'll tell you if it sells out. Even if it doesn't sell out, man, it's gonna be the UK. You guys know how to have a great time at these fights. I know I joke about it and say that you guys, up in there screaming and singing "Sweet Caroline" and all that. Having a very the word I like to use, convivial time. You know what I mean? And that's great. The atmosphere and from afar, watching on TV, when I watch it on TV here, and the way I see it, looks like everybody over there having a great time watching the fights. You know what I mean? Whether the guy wins or loses. Look at the Kell Brook, Kell Brook and Golovkin. You know what I mean? They're just over just cheering and cheering and cheering. I remember when Ricky Hatton came over here, and they were just when he fought off Floyd, and they just only won Ricky. I mean, literally, Ricky Hatton later in that fight, man, was getting pieced up. And we all know the time when he got caught with the check left hook, ran into the turnbuckle, crowd still cheering his name. The dude got knocked out, they still cheering for him. You know what I mean? So even if it don't sell out, man, I'm sure the atmosphere is gonna be lovely over there. Gaines PP says Devin Young, is he an amateur prospect to look out for? I think I did a video on him, man. Is that the young? I believe I did a video on him. Let me see here. Mad Mike says, what are your opinions on all the cops killing white people lately? Tell me your opinion. Some people just love to come on here and troll, man. I never heard of that dude. I don't know if it's even a real, I don't know. Some people just want attention though, man. So they come here to YouTube and look for it. It's all good. Let me see here. Try to get to a few more, y'all. I'm gonna call it a night, man. It's it was at 1 o'clock in the morning over here. Blood Boxing says, it's good to see you back, family. I appreciate that, man. Salty Sally says, Himi a heel fights this week. I'm gonna try to check that out, man. Himi the heel. I know him. He went to and what did Himi try to do, man? He tried to go over to, was it K1 or kickboxing? Ended up getting knocked out. That was like a year ago or so, but I seen that knockout. I was like, ooh, shit. Should have stayed boxing, bro. It was brutal, too. I believe that was Hemi Heel that I seen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that Hemi Heel that tried to try some K1 or some shit like that not so long ago? Ended up getting knocked out. Afro Base says, yo, Mr. Boxer today. Can we get a prediction from you on what's most likely going to happen in the heavyweight division from now till the end of 2020? What do you think will, or who do you think will become contenders, champs, etc., etc.? Well, I mean, I'm not a motherfucking genie, man. You dig what I'm saying? But what I can say is this, though. There's a lot of good prospects coming up, man. Philippe Herkovic and Daniel Dubois and F.A. Ajagba and so on and so forth, And Wilder, although he's never lost, he's beatable. Joshua, I know he's never lost. He's beatable. So all these guys are beatable, man. I just think, really, bro, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna try to hold you, man. I really don't know. But what I do know is we have some great matchups on the horizon. It's just getting these guys in there and fighting each other. All right. Now we got a little taste, a little glimpse of things when we got to see Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, right? We got to see a glimpse of things when we got to see Joseph Parker take on Joshua, and then Parker take on Dillian White. Dillian White fought Anthony Joshua before they became, or before Joshua became a title holder. So on and so forth. You know, just as long as we keep seeing these mixes and matches, I really don't know what the hell gonna happen. To tell you the truth, but what I do know is we have some good matchups on the horizon, and we have some good up and coming prospects. So a little of everything possibly could happen. I know that really doesn't answer your question in totality, but I really don't know, man. All I know is we have some good possible matchups, and this era could turn out to be one of the better eras as far as matchups is concerned. All right, I'm not saying the best, but you know, we'll see. We will see, because now what we have is a cast of characters. Remember when the Klitschko era was going on, a lot of fans were upset because they just didn't think we had enough characters. A lot of, some of these guys didn't even speak English. They just really wasn't in tune. You know, people wasn't running to the TV set to go watch, and nothing against him, but I'm just being honest. A lot of people wasn't running to the TV set to go watch Sultan and Bragimov and Ruzan Chagayev and Nikolai Valuev and even the Klitschko brothers sometimes when they would fight. Now, I would, because I'm just a fucking fanatic, but casuals ain't running to the TV to see them dudes fight. But now we have that cast of characters of Dillian White, Anthony Joshua, Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder, Brazil, these heavy hitting prospects that's coming up. You guys get what I'm saying here? So and not to discredit the places like Germany, and because they got some good prospects I like over there as well. Jack Caballel and Tom Schwartz, and things like that. Um, and even in this kind of off a little bit, but there's another prospect that I would like to see Philippe Herkovic fight, and that's Petar Malas. Malas is the guy that beat Pianata. He beat Kevin Johnson, and he actually there's an article I just seen where he was talking about Philippe Herkovic, like, and this goes back to guys fighting some of their own countrymen before they try to conquer the world. Malas was saying like, hey man, we're both Romanian. We're gonna have to fight. Pretty much is what he was saying. Like, we're gonna have to get it on one day, man. This thing, we just can't uh try to conquer the world, but then forget about our backyard. That don't make any sense. You trying to conquer the world, we don't even know if you're the toughest guy on your damn block. But you trying to conquer the world, though. You gotta conquer the backyard as well. Let me see here. Hop says convivial. He says nice vocabulary word, Mr. Boxon. I like it when people take advantage of the richness of the English language. Yeah, man, got to do your reading, man. That's one thing, man, that I think is paramount, right? But I think it's very important, man. No matter how old you get, is to keep reading, keep educating yourself. Even if you done like I did 4 years of college, obviously high school. Even though I didn't try to go do the masters and get another degree and do all that, always want to keep reading, keep educating yourself. I got 4 kids I take, that me and my wife take care of. So it's imperative that you read and you stay trying to get your vocabulary up. Um, you do homework with your kid. You want to be able to help them as they work their way through junior high and high school and things like that, man. So I think it's very important. Um, to just keep reading, man. Even if you do nothing else, man, stay reading books, y'all. Stay reading. It don't matter what it is, man. Just stay reading. That's if there's something non-boxing that I can give you, is stay reading. Please stay reading, man. Let me see here. Afi Tusa says Arrow and Terrence. Okay. So you talking about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? Now look, man. What? Now I haven't been following it too tough because I'm more of a just when y'all gonna fight type of guy. You know what I mean? But one thing I will say is this though. Terrence Crawford didn't seem like he was shy about running up on Errol Spence, and Errol's supposed to be this guy that a lot of fans are looking at him as like he's the boogeyman and all that type of shit. Terrence Crawford didn't approach the situation like that. You know what I mean? So I seen little clips of it, but I didn't really get too gung ho over it or anything like that, man. It's just like okay, they seen each other and they start talking shit, start talking slick to each other back and forth. That's common. I mean that's just common, just in everyday outside world of where I live at. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really up at all about that, but Crawford didn't seem like he was intimidated whatsoever. Obviously, Errol Spence didn't look like he was intimidated. But one thing that Errol Spence did say that made me kind of scratch my head though is when he was it was something about taking the easier route. And once I just heard just the words easier route come out of his mouth, I just thought that was contrary to what he is about. You know what I mean? Which is not necessarily taking the hardest route, but just wanting the toughest challenges right now, not waiting till I clean up my side of the street. And you're not no, just the toughest challenges right now. You got a title, I got a title, let's get it. But when I heard that, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for the fight, man. But the Fox Strike says, "Peace out." All right, man. See you later, bro. Um, Triple on DMC says it's Joseph Parker fighting Junior Fa. Nah, they're just fighting on the same fight card, bro. On December 15th. But I do think that fight will come to fruition soon. I appreciate that. Dio Benuli says Mr. Boxing, one of the classiest channels out there. I'll surely appreciate that, man. Johnny Payne says Sergey Kuzmin versus Tom Schwartz. What y'all think? Ooh, that's a good one, yo. That's a good one. I know Kuzmin gonna come forward. I know Tom Schwartz gonna try to use his size, use his height and his reach. That's just your traditional boxer versus brawler type of matchup, bro. If I had a quarter or something, I'd just flip a coin right now. All right, so I caught up to all the Blood says I feel the same way. Yeah, and but I seen you talking about it as well, man, about the Crawford and Spence type of thing. I was listening to you chop it up about it, man, and like I said, bro, I agree with a lot of what you were saying. You know what I mean? It just gets to the point, man, with a lot of these guys when they talk shit, it's just like, when are y'all gonna fight, man? I mean, I can sit up here and make videos about it, and as Blood pointed out in his video, make the ass sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. And I even heard when 78 joined your live stream, and I can see both ways. I can see, cause shit, I ain't gonna lie to you. At first, I was making videos like that too. So salute to 78 with the whole Wilder and Joshua thing. I was like, well, shit, man. If you know what I mean, the shit that I've heard Floyd Mayweather say about not caring about fans, why the fuck should I care? You know what I mean? I'm gonna just start making videos and get the ass sense as well. Still do it in my style and my way and actually break things down. But at the same time, though, if the fighters and shit don't care, why the fuck do we care so much? You know what I mean? If they're just gung ho on making $1 off us, and if you're a YouTube uploader, you should make there shouldn't be a problem with you making $1 off their situation neither. You know what I mean? Shit work both ways here, man. Because it's not a problem now. It ain't a problem when we spend money buying the fights on our televisions and host these fight parties. Like I had one guy on here, and I had the I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. The dude was a commenter for a few years, man. He may see this video. Well, I don't know if he see it or not, but I end up blocking the dude, and I've only blocked since my first channel and this channel that I'm running right now. I've literally only blocked about 5 or 6 dudes, man. Literally. But I had to block this dude because he was asking me. Now I ended up getting the Zone app, right? Because the shit was free. But I wasn't paying enough attention to know it was free at first until I heard it was free. Like, oh, the shit's free for a little month or whatever. So then I ended up getting it for free. But anyways, I ended up blocking the dude because the dude gonna tell me he gonna leave a message saying, what the fuck did he say exactly verbatim? He said, yeah, he was like, so how did I watch the Joshua versus Povetkin fight? And I said, I watched. Now, this just lets you know sometimes you're running a channel. Some people come to your channel just to argue. You can fucking say, hey man, blue's my favorite color. They'll come start arguing with you about fucking yellow or white or some shit. But anyways though, I was like, man, I watched the Joshua Povetkin fight on Periscope. He gonna leave me a message saying, well, first of all, he likes to keep up the whole UK USA thing, all right. But he was like, you should take your channel down, blah 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 blah. You're not supporting the fighters. You're just ripping them off, getting their fights for free, blah blah. And I'm sitting here like, first of all, motherfucker, I do what the fuck I want. And who are you to count my pockets? That's just on some man stuff. But as a boxing fan though, excuse me, but were you around me in 1999 and 2000, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, when I'm paying for pay-per-views myself, hosting these fight parties, buying wings and Coronas and vodka and, um, having people come over to my residence and we just chopping it up on my dime, and I ordered a fight, and I'm not doing a whole charging people at the door shit. Were you around me those times when I fucking have ordered over 200, 300, 400 pay-per-views? I even fucking ordered Roy Jones versus Prince. What's the fuck dude that Roy Jones fought? Prince Abadi Ajuma? Blood, I see you in here. Blood, you know what I'm talking about. I even ordered that fucking pay-per-view. I ordered a lot of pay-per-views over the years, man. Even when Zab fought some no-namer dude on a fucking New York-based channel, I ordered that one. I ordered a lot of pay-per-views. So for me, and we have the opportunity of streaming things now, I'm going to take the opportunity sometime to stream some of these fights that I don't want to pay for. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to reimburse me for all the pay-per-views I paid for? Who's going to reimburse me for ordering fucking Mike Tyson versus Kevin McBride? Who's going to, nobody. That's my dollar, right? So I can do what the hell I want, man. So I had to just block dude, man, because dude, and it's not about when you come to my channel, you have to agree with me or I'm going to block you. No. But when you come to the channel, you're always just looking for an argument, just always. I mean, I may say, hey, man, Wilder has a really good right hand. No, he doesn't, and then you want to argue. It's like, dude, how can you disagree with everything I say? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit was just crazy, man. Like, damn, you gonna you disagree with everything I say? But yeah, man, I ended up getting to the Zone app. You know what I mean? It was just, I couldn't believe that dude, man. I forgot the user's name. I just remember his avatar, but I forgot his name though. I forget, man. But dude was fucking tripping, man. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, dude, I've ordered so many pay-per-views. I've spent thousands. I have ordered all of Floyd's. No, which one did I did? I ordered his first one against Gotti, Thunder and Lightning. I remember all these like they were yesterday, man. On my dime, never charging nobody, having food for people to show. So shit, man. Yeah, fast forward 20 years later now. Yeah, I might want to pick and choose what I pay for now. You know what I mean? I want to pick and choose. And these dudes have set paychecks, or they're going to get their money. It's not like these guys only making $400 to fight each other. These dudes, a lot of these fighters that we're arguing about make more money than some of us will ever see in our lifetime. So, yeah, man. I watched Canelo Golovkin 2 on Periscope. Yeah. Canelo just fucking signed for what, 400 million or some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to pick and choose as well, man. I'm a man too with a family. So I want to pick and choose how I spend my money. But that's neither here nor there, man. Hop says, and Mr. Box today would really value your opinion. Who would you rank prime, or who would you rank higher? Prime Mike Tyson or prime Lennox For me, that's not an easy one. Both all-time greats, perhaps Mike by a narrow margin. Man, overall, I'll rank Lennox higher in their prime. When see their people to okay for me, when people say prime, the first thing they think of is age. You're right. You're more in your prime when you're a younger man, right, or younger female. Um, but your fighting in your career prime versus your age prime doesn't necessarily, they're not necessarily on one accord. You know what I mean? Where I thought Lennox was a better fighter as he got older, not at the very end, but like in his 30s, you know what I mean? Whereas Mike was at his best when he was just that young phenom. Mike captivated us as fans and the division, and being able to accumulate monetary gains that were out of this world at the time. Um, and he inspired a culture like the hip hop culture, and just man, Mike was the man. You know what I mean? Even the video game culture where Mike Tyson Punch Out came into play. Uh, man, Mike was a beast, man. He was a beast, man. It's really hard for me to say, man. It's really hard for me to say. Lennox took on some tough challenges as well. But just overall, bro, I rate Lennox higher than Mike Tyson on the all time list. I'll put it like that. Um, but I think Mike captivated the attention, and his dominance was just, it was clear. I mean, you can say Lennox dominance was clear in his prime as well, but Mike's, it was just clear, man. It was just clear, almost overwhelming dominance. Whereas Lennox will go in there, he'll have a masterclass performance. Like he wouldn't knock Tua out, but you know, he boxed his ears off, boxed circle squares and triangles around him. You know what I mean? Put on a clinic, things like that. Then he'll go in there, then he'll go in there, he'll blow out Galata and blow out Michael Grant. And then he'll go in there with Holyfield and Holyfield's no bum, you know what I mean? And have closer fights with or more technical or tactical type of fights with Holyfield, you know. So, but shit, Mike had his fights too where he couldn't get Bone Crusher Smith out of there. He couldn't get Tony Tucker out of there. You can say it's because they were fighting negative against Mike as far as their offensive output. Right now, I'm just talking in circles, man. I really don't know, bro. It's, I mean, just overall, I'll rate Lennox higher, but I think prime for prime, Mike looked a little bit more dominant, in my opinion. So that's where I'll go with that one. But that's a good question. Tone Bangers was good, man. You kind of caught me at the end, Tone. About to wrap it up here in a second. Um, Garugara says, I hardly buy fights these days. Stream it, then watch a quality upload later, usually on the official channel, so they get advertising revenue anyways. Tef Music says, Mike Tyson plus Customato equals victory every time. Well, y'all know who my favorite heavyweights are. Ali, Holmes, and George Foreman, but I love Mike Tyson, oh man. He was probably my Mike was one of the most exciting just sporting events. Yes, and I call it sporting events to watch growing up. He was like, at least in my household, you know, the Super Bowl, okay, you know, the NBA Finals, okay, cool. Tyson fight, everybody's coming over, and you knew there's gonna be a possibility that this shit only lasting about one round, but everybody was just glued to the television, man. Captivating. He's one of the most captivating athletes that I've ever got to witness in my existence here on Earth. You know what I mean? But hey, man, this was a spontaneous live stream. Um, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna come back with some more heavyweight stuff in the next during this week. I'm just anticipating, man, going to this Wilder Fury fight. For those of you that have heard me say this about 20 times now, because to me, this is one of my bucket lists. Yeah, Hop, I like Mike. He's on my shirt, man. You know, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? But this was one is it's a guy thing. You know what I mean? We can have like a little bucket list. But as far as my sporting type things on my bucket list, a big heavyweight title fight um, is one of them. So I'm gonna be able to cross that off. You know what I mean. And I don't like really telling my sporting bucket until I get a chance to do the thing. Oh, and I went to a Vikings game in a new stadium on the 50-yard line. I was 6 rows back from the behind the Vikings bench. All right, so that was on the bucket list as well to get. But I wanted to be front row, but shit, 6 rows back. I mean, you can't beat that as well. You know what I mean? And I went to the Jacksonville. It was a preseason game, but the whole point was to go and sit close as hell to the Vikings. All right, so I was able to do that. At that, just because of the stadium, not so much to see the Vikes, but just to be in that stadium and to be that close. I remember as a kid growing up going to the Metrodome where the Vikings used to play, where the Twins won 2 World Series in '87 and in '91. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Minnesota Twins, but I remember saying like, man, I want to come back to the Metrodome, but I want to be in the first row, man. So fast forward, 20 some odd years later, I was able to take my wife and the kids to a Vikings game. So that's off, and to sit close to the 50-yard line. So that's off the list. And a big heavyweight title fight. The Ortiz versus Wilder fight, I wanted to go to that one, but it just didn't match up with my schedule. But got the ticket, got the room. I'm ready for this Wilder versus Fury. You know what I mean? So, all right, y'all. Hop says, good bucket list item. I've been to 2 fights, but not quite that high of level. Mike Wilkins says, stay up, player. Quincy Panola says, Michael Hunter. Afia Tusa says, stay up, my guy. Mark Wonderlick says, peace, blood. Okay, I see blood. Blood's out of here. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I'll be back with some more heavyweight content soon. Y'all be easy.